Hello, my name is Dr. Vishal Lala. I'm a professor in the Department of Marketing, the Lubin School of Business of Peace University. Welcome to this course on digital marketing. This is a very short 4-week course, which means being on top of your schedule is extremely important. With that being said, let me get started giving a quick overview of the course. So here's the course page for digital marketing. You're probably familiar with this or have already visited this page. I shared with you announcements earlier about the course, inviting you to come in and introduce yourself. As I note out here, I teach predominantly marketing courses with a focus on data and technology. A fun fact about me and this course is the first time I taught this course was all the way back in 2000, the fall of 2000. Not 2010, 2020, but the year Y2K. I taught it in a place far away from here. Stillwater, Oklahoma is where I taught the course at Oklahoma State University as a doctoral student at the time. Of course, I'm not going to teach the same course to you that I taught 25 years ago. Much has changed since then. Back then, the web was a novel concept in much of the way that language models are today. By now, this is a very mature discipline, very mature domain, and we're going to take and introduce to you all the learning and knowledge that we've accumulated over the last 25 years in the area of digital marketing. So here is the course page. In here, you're going to find on top a navigation bar. This is what I recommend you use for this course. Now, keep in mind, my navigation bar is going to be a little different from yours. Now, under content, you're going to find the various modules of this course organized by the day of this course. This is the button I recommend you use and not use any other buttons. Within these content modules, you'll find all the information you need for this course. Okay, so when you click on the content module, you arrive on this page which contains the syllabus, and as I noted before, modules for every day of this course. Let me start by reviewing the syllabus. The syllabus talks about who I am, and let me try and open this in a fresh page to give some more space maybe. It didn't work out so good. Let me try this one more time. Here we go. So here's the syllabus of the course. Tells you a little bit about how you can contact me and a bit about the course. The course, as I noted, has evolved over time. What we're going to do today is what we're doing in this course are the most recent developments in the area of digital marketing. We'll talk about things that are popular, things that are widely used, things that are often listed in job postings. So we'll cover topics like search engine optimization, figuring out what to say on your website to make sure it appears high in the search engine results for Google, Bing, and other search websites. We'll look at search engine marketing, figuring out how to pay your way to appear higher in the rankings. We'll also examine display ads. We'll move into looking at web analytics, essentially keeping track of who comes to your website, how much time they spend on your website, and so on. We'll have an assignment on Google Analytics 4 or GA4 that examines web analytics. We'll also take a look at email marketing, social media, and finally how to shape a company's reputation online. The materials for this course are all included in these two course materials. One is a textbook called Digital Marketing Essentials by Stu Kent. This is a fairly well updated book with a number which is fairly readable also. It's an ebook So your entire interaction will be via the online book. You can, and of course, the books it's fairly compact and short. We'll also have a digital marketing campaign that's part of the course bundle called the Digital Marketing Simternship. More about that in a little bit. Here are the various assessments involved in this course. We're going to have 2 exams, a midterm and a final exam. We'll have a few assignments, specifically 5 assignments. Each assignment you must complete and submit via classes or Brightspace. In addition, we have what are called, we have a couple of quizzes in this course. The quizzes assess your learning of the concepts or the content of the chapter. We have strengthen your skills quiz and chapter quizzes. The strengthen your skills quizzes typically provide you with a scenario and assess your understanding of the concepts, while chapter quizzes get right at the concepts without much context. Now, it's really important to make sure you complete these quizzes in a timely manner. There's a fairly short time window between when the chapter begins and when the quiz is due, typically about 48 hours. Now, it isn't hard to earn points for these. There are 14 of these altogether, and you only must complete 12 to get full credit, right? So you can miss 2. If you do all 14, your lowest 2 scores will be dropped. Of course, there's no reason to earn anything less than full points because you get 3 attempts for every one of these quizzes, whether it's chapter quiz or strengthen your skills quiz, right? So you get 3 attempts and your lowest 2 scores get dropped. The digital marketing campaign is a kind of environment where you get to apply everything you've learned to a sort of like a real life e-commerce situation. You're in this simulation, you're entrusted with entrusted with making decisions for a company called Boogie. And as part of your job, you have to do things like figuring out the right keywords to use for the website, figuring out how much to bid on certain keywords, looking at display ads and how to, again, bid in those display ads, and so on and so forth. In a sense, you're doing all the things that a typical e-commerce company would do to make sure they do better online. The simulation is, even though simulation is fairly realistic, you get feedback every time you make a decision, and the feedback comes in the form of your CEO speaking to you directly at the beginning of the round, and also so like chat-based messages to ensure you fully understand the goals of the round. That brings me to the issue of the rounds. There are 10 rounds. Each round has different goals associated with it. On completing the goals, if you meet the goals, then you get full points for that round. If you don't meet the goals, you don't get as many points. So your score for any given round is tied to accomplishing the goals. These goals will be made known to you at the beginning of each round. When you complete a round, you must then document the rationale for the decisions in the round log. These rationale you'll document within classes. When you're all done with this, you're going to present your findings in a report and a presentation. Okay, together that's a big chunk of your grade. Now, the digital marketing campaign itself, the simulation that is going to be in a separate platform, not in Brightspace, not in classes. So you'll click on a link and be bounced off to a place where you can examine the simulation. Okay. You'll come back though to complete the round logs. These you'll complete on classes. In the report and presentation, you'll submit via classes. Okay, so that's a lot about the assessments. Let me move along now to the schedule for this course. Now, the course schedule is laid out in such a way that you know day by day what you're doing. Keep in mind, this is um, a semester-long course that's been compressed down to only 4 weeks. We have about 19 class sessions. So today we do the introduction. Here we are. And tomorrow you will start by jumping into the first chapter of the course called Digital Marketing Foundations. There's an assessment due the very same day. So noted, these things happen pretty quickly. Obviously, you can read this chapter today if you'd like to. So you could read this today and complete this one today or tomorrow. In any event, this is due by 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time on January 6th. So the first chapter quiz and strengthening skills quiz are both due by the end of day on January 6th. Also due by that day is your first assignment. This one is a super easy one. All you've got to do is go online, click on a link, and pay for the book and the simulation. In doing so, you would have activated your Stuket account. Doing so alone earns you those assignment points. So it's a super easy assignment. We move along to January 7th when you go to web design and so on. Now, rather than tracking the schedule here, I'm going to take you to classes where we can find the same exact information broken out by day. Going back to classes then, here we are. On January 5th, if you click on that module, it'll tell you, here's what you've got to do. On Jan 5th, you review syllabus, take a tour of the course shell, introduce yourself in the forum, and activate your Stuket account. The way to activate your Stuket account is to look for on the January 5th this link. When you click on this link, it will take you to a landing page where you will be able to fill in some information and activate your account. In order to access the materials, you will have to pay for the book as well as simulation. This is a requirement of the course. You've got to have the book, you've got to have the simulation in order to track this course. Once you finish with that, you simply make a note of having done that right here by clicking on this link. Super simple. Okay, that's Jan 5th. Let's move on to January 6th. On Jan 6th, you're going to read chapter 1 from the book. Let's go visit the book, see where that is. So once you activate your account, you will be able to view the chapter material. Keep in mind, my view looks a little different from yours. Okay, so here we are in chapter 1. And in here, you're going to find things like components of the topic. This includes an introduction, discussion of technical terms, and what characterizes a successful website. Once you read this, you'll be able to then complete your Strengthen Your Skills quiz and chapter 1 quiz. You could click into these right from here, or you click on the links within classes. Either way, you wind up in the same place to complete those 2 quizzes. These are multiple choice type quizzes, so all you're doing is selecting 1 out of 4 answers, or checking a few boxes, or responding to a true or false question. Once you've completed those, the points get logged automatically. If you're not happy with your score, go right back and give it another go. You get 3 attempts for every assessment. On to Jan 7th we go now. Just like you had on Jan 6th, on Jan 7th, you're going on to the next chapter. And here I've noted you've got this deadline here, right? So you read the book and then complete the quizzes. Also related, opening on this same day is the landing page optimization assignment. That's down here. So you're going to take a look, click on this link, learn more about the landing page optimization assignment, and it involves creating a landing page using Canva, for which you've been provided a template. Once you complete this, you share the link with me by clicking on this assignment page link, and then that's your assignment submitted on Jan 8th, and so on and so forth. You get the idea by now. On Jan 8th, you'll be introduced to the digital marketing campaign. So until Jan 8th, you don't even bother about the digital marketing campaign. In fact, if you try clicking on this link right now, it won't even work for you because it's not going to open until Jan 8th. That's deliberately done. I don't want you to go that far ahead with the digital marketing campaign. The idea here is for you to be able to connect the digital marketing campaign to the topical material. So you should be able to, in a sense, apply what you learn in class to the digital marketing campaign. So on Jan 9th, we're going to open up round 1. In round 1, that's right here. We're going to get started here. And you will be able to apply what you learned on search ads right here into the simulation. Now, the simulation round 1 is opening on Jan 9th. That doesn't mean it's due on Jan 9th. Of course, it would make sense to complete those on Jan 9th, right? But if you don't do it in Jan 9th, no issue. But I do want you to finish it by January 12th. Because that's when I'm asking you to submit a round log. The round log is basically a few lines, and I want you to keep this to just a few lines. Don't go crazy writing a whole paragraph out here. Just a few lines to share your rationale for why you made the decisions you made. This will be very handy when you're looking back at the very end of the simulation. So this is more for you than for me. I will, of course, be assigning you points based on what you share out here. I'm not too picky about what you put down here, so long as it reflects your thinking in completing the round, right? So bottom line is there's no really right or wrong answer. If it looks like you've thought it through, you're gonna get points. As simple as that. Okay, that's Jan 12th. Jan 13th, see what happens then. Round 2 opens, and so on and so forth. On Jan 16th is the midterm exam. The midterm exam will be it'll be synchronous, which means, I'm sorry, I take that back. Jan 16th exam is using a software called Respondus Monitor, which means your camera needs to be functioning to take the exam because you'll be on camera being recorded for the duration of the exam. It is also a closed book, which means the software we're going to use called Respondus will freeze your computer to a point where only the application, the classes application will function. Everything else will be frozen. You won't be able to use anything else on your computer. It'll just be a computer, and you'll also be on camera for the duration of the midterm exam. Okay. And then we go through like this day after day and so on. On Jan 30th is a wrap for the semester. Okay. That's a lot of information. I will let you now go through classes, take a tour. And if you have any questions, of course, feel free to email me. My email is on here under syllabus. And as I noted in my email's right here. If you'd like to meet with me also, I'm usually in my office. But just give me a heads up if you're gonna stop by to see me. Okay. As I noted, every day I'm gonna share with you some message like this. It'll be called the Daily Mail message. You'll get a kind of note from me, and it'll be sort of like a reminder about what we're going to do each day. Okay. Before I sign off, two important things to share. This is an online class, which means you don't see people around you in a classroom like the one behind me. You don't see how others are doing. You don't have um, uh, the benefit of having this culture of being in a classroom, right? Which means you're in your own. You've got to use or find the motivation to stay on track with this course. Don't fall behind. Track the schedule very carefully. The deadlines for this course are set in stone. So it is up to you to have the discipline to stay on top of the course. In here, you're going to find in the schedule um, deadlines, when something is due, and so on. So we have in column 2 what we're going to cover, and column 3 shows you what stage of the digital marketing campaign we're at. But this last column is most important. You must submit things by the date when they're due. If you don't submit things in time, then you simply lose out on those points. So it's critically important to stay on top of the schedule. It's only a matter of 4 weeks, not a long time. Keep in mind, in 4 weeks, you're going to get the credit most folks take a semester to earn. So you will have to do a bit more work than folks taking a course in a regular semester. So really, really important. Stay on track with the schedule. Set time aside every day. This is not the kind of course where you can decide to do work on the weekend or on Friday, give it 4 or 5 hours. It's not going to work. The way it's set up, you need to be on top of it every day. So set about 2 or 3 hours aside for doing work every single day of this course. If you have any questions, you can always email me. And with that, I'm glad you joined this course. I think there's a lot to learn, and really a lot of the materials you're going to take away from this course can really spruce up your LinkedIn profile. So glad to have you join. Good luck and stay on top of this course. Thank you.